Hey everyone, my name is Frank and welcome to my desk tour video. Today I'll be showing you my desk, chair, computer, and more. So let's delve into ChatGPT. Are you sure this script sounds good? Just seems kind of generic.
Generic. I am $1 billion artificial intelligence. Meanwhile, you're just like some guy. Now read the script.
Hey everyone, and for real this time, thank you for clicking on this particular rectangle in an ever-growing expanse of rectangles. So let's not waste any more time so I can show you what you really came here to see. The most expensive corner of my apartment. It's not perfect, hence the title of the video, and that's because I'm always reconfiguring things based on my wants and needs. It's never the same for too long. That being said, I do work from home full time and I've invested plenty into my home office. So please don't feel like you need to drop a stack to create a home office that you're happy with. Honestly, I found that the cheapest or even free additions tend to go the farthest. Kicking things off with the actual foundation of my desk is this sit-stand desk from Uplift. I've been using this since 2020 and wow, that actually sickens me to even think about since I feel like I just got it. Anyway, this desk is an absolute beast. A few months ago when I only first started procrastinating this video, the team at Uplift offered to send me a new wooden desktop to swap out my old bamboo one with. At 72 inches long, this solid pheasant wood desktop is seriously beautiful and serves as the anchor point for the entire room. It's a pleasure to sit and work at, though I do have one big complaint. The finish itself, while smooth and nice to touch, doesn't actually protect the wood much. At first I thought it was because I'm a big dumb ape or something, but I really do have to be careful with anything metal or sharp. Supporting the desktop and everything on it is the Uplift 4-leg motorized standing desk frame in the industrial gray finish. Since I do spend a solid chunk of my day at my desk, diligently creating shareholder value, I enjoy having the option to swap to standing height at the push of a button. It genuinely makes a difference to get up and stretch them legs a few times a day, even if you have a nice ergonomic chair. And one last thing on the desk, I added these lockable casters to each of the legs, and it's made moving the desk around for cleaning and rearranging cables so much easier. If your desk has threaded mounts, this upgrade goes a long way. One of the most important components of a setup is a reliable ergonomic chair. I use the Herman Miller Embody, and at the risk of sounding like a shill, it's easily the best chair I've ever used. I can make an entire video about this, but I want to be mindful of your time, so we'll keep this brief. The ergonomic design is excellent, the materials are premium, but unfortunately, it's prohibitively expensive. I like to lean back in my chair, so I bought this headrest add-on from Atlas. I went with the black to match the armrests for a two-tone look. And I've also added these inexpensive rollerblade wheels to roll easier on the floor. Highly recommend. So I'm a dual monitor type of guy and I've been very satisfied with this setup both for productivity and gaming. My primary display is this HP Omen 27-inch IPS monitor on a Kanto monitor arm. And while it's only 1440p, it does offer 165Hz refresh rate, making it a solid middle ground for both work and play. And for my second display, I've been rocking this LG Dual Up for about 3 years now. And coming in at a slim thick 16:18 aspect ratio, the Dual Up is in a league of its own. And when paired with something like Microsoft Fancy Zones to customize layouts and take advantage of the full screen real estate, it really shines. And on top of the main display, I've set up a BenQ screen bar with a Logitech camera on top. Now, let me tell you, after using a Lightbar for a little over a year now, I am totally sold on these. I am now a Lightbar fan, an enthusiast if you will. For such a low profile, the BenQ screen bar is able to illuminate my entire desktop. My favorite feature though is the proximity sensor, which activates the light when it detects you sitting down at your desk. Really though, you feel like the main character when you sit down to grind and the light switches on. And whether that grind is contributing nothing on a Zoom call or getting stomped in Marvel Rivals, at least it won't be dark. Powering the whole setup is my custom built PC, which sits pretty on the desk itself. For the case, I went for the Fractal North and White. I think it's one of the cleanest looking cases out there. I've got the lights synced in an off-white color just to brighten up the internals a little bit. I did recently pick up this Corsair liquid cooler with customizable IPS screen. I normally keep it static with the CPU temps, but you can display pretty much anything you want on it. So anyway, I'll drop the rest of the PC specs on screen if you're interested. I think every desk setup can be improved with a proper desk shelf, even if your monitors are on arms like mine. Aside from additional space to store things and hide cables, a desk shelf can add some much needed verticality to a setup. The one I have here is from Oki wood that I sanded, stained, and polished to better match the darker wood desktop. It's always good to have a friend with an orbital sander. Thanks, Joe. So I wanted to add a small shelf to my big shelf, and I actually had an extra piece of metal cable management rack that seemed like a perfect option. Lastly, I attached a USB hub that connects to my PC for easier access to ports. Overall, I'm pretty thrilled with the result, especially since I was able to repurpose stuff I already had. On top of the desk itself, I've got a small desk organizer from Yamazaki. And inside of that, I've got an Amazon Alexa Show that's basically a glorified light switch that also advertises to me, some AirPods, and my Apple Watch on a matching wooden charger. To the sides are the Creative Pebble V3 speakers. I primarily use headphones, so these mostly serve as backup audio, but still, these things pack a surprising punch, look pretty good, and are very affordable. Next, I've got this cool little electromagnetic floating planter with a snake plant in it. I need to keep the plant happy, but not too happy, which sounds a little morally gray now that I'm thinking about it, but if the plant gets too heavy, it'll instantly snap down on the magnet. The planter's not too sensitive and it doesn't fall on its own, but if the power goes out, you have about a quarter second to duck and cover before it snaps down and becomes a jump scare. Let's just say I used to have more pebbles on the soil. On the front of the shelf sits my iPhone 15 Pro on a MagSafe charger that my buddy 3D printed for me. It works well to see any important notifications coming in on my phone. And as a keyboard, I'm using a custom 65% mechanical keyboard from QWERTY Keys with Gateron Yellow Pro switches. More recently, I picked up these sweet gradient keycaps from Glorious that match my wallpaper. And I've also added some walnut wood arrow keycaps to match my wooden wrist rest from Osio to tie it all together. My mouse of choice is the MX Master 3S, and I've got no plans on swapping it out anytime soon. Silent clicks, gesture controls, infinity scroll, side scroll, and unrivaled comfort, the MX Master 3S is the Honda Civic of computer mice. Paired with it, I have this moving wrist rest I got for a few bucks on Amazon. The idea is that it moves alongside your mouse and keeps your wrist from bending, improving ergonomics and comfort. I definitely feel like it makes a difference for longer days at work. I use a large desk mat to function as both a mouse pad and to protect the wooden desktop. I went for this topographical design to break up some of the geometry in the setup. It seemed much more visually interesting than just having a plain black leather one like I used to. And for my audio, including what I'm recording this video with, I use an old Blue Yeti on this slick low profile mount from Fifine. I love the look and functionality of this pairing compared to the overhead monitor arm that I've used in the past. And what I have below my mic can honestly best be described as my ADHD tray. It's a repurposed lid from an IKEA storage container that added some adhesive felt to so it would slide around easier. Basically, it's a catch-all for a few of my fidget toys, my Wesson pocket knife, and a Pomodoro timer. Behind that, I've got a ZZ plant to add some greenery into the space. I've got it in a fabric planner just to make sure that I don't scratch the desk. This walnut to-do list holder not only complements the setup, but is super useful for jotting down my daily or weekly to-dos to help stay top of mind. My go-to headphones have been the MW65 from Master and Dynamic. Premium design and effective ANC, though with a pretty hefty price tag. And ubiquitous among YouTube desktops at this point is the IKEA Scottus Pegboard. I love this thing, and it's been a mainstay in all of my workspaces for over 6 years at this point. And when it comes to low-cost, high-impact desk setup upgrades, the Scottus is king. Or queen, or whatever a Scottus is. It's a pegboard and of course modular, so I set mine up to store things that I want close by but don't necessarily need every day. Small bins for random items, my Xbox controller, my Steam Deck that I recently picked up, and plus a few hooks to store my keys and a crossbody for when it's time to head out and actually touch grass. And like a fine mullet, my desk keeps the business in the front and the party in the back. If your idea of a party is mediocre cable management and my dog when she gets scared of the fire alarm. And since I can't paint the walls in my apartment, I wanted a way to make them more visually interesting without installing those wooden slats that everyone has. No shots at those, I think they look great, but I just wanted something a little bit more unique. So then I found these wooden hexagons from a seller on Etsy. They're pretty affordable and easy to install with a paint safe adhesive. I placed them behind the wall of my desk and I think they look pretty cool. And for some added lighting, I picked up this Lightbar RGB lamp from Govee. But since there wasn't actually enough clearance to have it stand on the ground, I attached it to the back leg of the desk frame. Not only did this save on space, but the lamp actually raises and lowers with the desk itself, ensuring that the backlighting is uniform whether I'm sitting or standing. I've come to the conclusion that cable management is straight up not a good time. So my new approach lends itself to the 80-20 rule, the Pareto principle, which aims to get 80% of the way there with only 20% of the effort. I go for just enough cable management to keep the OC demons at bay. My primary cable management solution is this set of metal racks that clamp onto the back of my desktop. On their own, they don't do much, but when paired with reusable zip ties and Velcro tape, they're the best solution I've found to manage lots of cables and power bricks, but still having them accessible when adding or removing devices. For things that I don't add or remove often, I keep them in this plastic tray under my desk as a sort of catch-all. And while the cable rack and tray hold the vast majority of my cables and bricks, I was also intentional with purchasing things that had cable management in mind. And I think that just about wraps up my desk setup tour. If you made it this far in the video, thank you so much. Seriously, it really does mean a lot. But anyways, I hope you enjoyed taking a look around my space. If you enjoyed seeing content like this and you'd like to see more from me in the future, be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. And I'll see you next time.